Hello and welcome to Newsreel Asia's Explainer series, where we break down political, economic, social, and psychological ideas to help you make sense of the stories you read and watch every day. In this episode, we are talking about something many of us struggle with: politics. Have you ever lost a friend because their political views didn't match yours? Or argued with your parents over the party they support? Politics is everywhere in our daily lives, yet we often reduce it to just one thing: supporting or criticizing political parties. And that's where the confusion begins. Because political engagement is much bigger than party politics. And being politically engaged does not mean being loyal to a political party. Politics isn't just what happens inside parliament or state assemblies. It doesn't live only in TV studios or shouting debates. Politics shows up in everyday life, in the price of milk, in the quality of public hospitals, in how safe your neighborhood feels, in whether your child's school has enough teachers, in whether the garbage truck comes on time, or how clean is the air you breathe in. So the question isn't whether we should engage with politics. We must. The real question is how. Let's break this into two parts: how not to engage in politics and then how to engage well. Let's start with how not to do it. Many people confuse being politically engaged with picking a political team. They feel the only way to be involved is to choose a side, party A or party B, or the ruling party or the opposition. They start defending a party like a football club. You have seen this play out in family dinners, in WhatsApp groups, in apartment corridors, and especially on social media. One person defends a party and another criticizes it. Soon it stops being about policies and turns personal. You are brainwashed, you are biased, you don't get it. Friendships crack, parents and children stop talking, and somewhere in all that noise, real issues like inflation, governance, public services, corruption, and basic dignity disappear from the conversation. Political parties benefit when citizens are too caught up in emotional loyalty to notice what's actually happening. As Belgian political theorist Chantal Mouffe observes, parties often create an atmosphere of constant conflict, not to solve problems but to strengthen group identity. Their goal is to mobilize support, and the anger that people direct at each other becomes useful fuel for that mobilization. When our political identity becomes personal, criticism feels like an attack. If our side is questioned, we feel threatened. If a leader we support is caught lying or stealing, we look away. The German thinker Hannah Arendt warned that this confusion between personal loyalty and public responsibility is how democracies become hollow. Once politics becomes about protecting identities instead of demanding justice, the space for real debate disappears. American political thinker Sheldon Wolin took this further. He described something called inverted totalitarianism. In this system, democracy still exists on paper. Elections happen, institutions remain, but citizens behave more like spectators than participants. They cheer, they argue, they defend their side, but they don't ask questions. They don't organize, they don't hold power accountable. Power stays at the top and people at the bottom have no control. You want clean water, good schools, safe roads, fair policing. Politicians want power, loyalty, and re-election. Choosing a better team won't fix this. Things start to change only when people act like the system belongs to them and not like they're cheering for some brand. That's why political engagement has to mean more than party loyalty. So how should we engage? Engagement means asking difficult questions, comparing what your representative promised with what they actually delivered. Speaking about policies, not personalities. You can talk to others about policies by starting small conversations in your neighborhood, housing society, or even workplace. Ask people what they think about a new law, a price hike, or a local issue. Share what you have understood by reading the news carefully. You can support honest candidates by attending their meetings and asking clear questions. Engagement also means changing how we talk to each other. Disagreeing about policy doesn't have to mean disrespecting each other. Supporting one issue doesn't mean signing up for everything a party stands for. Arendt believed that political life depends on plurality, That is, many different people bringing many different views to the table. Engagement can also mean protest. Peaceful protest sends a powerful message. It says that this issue affects many people, not just a few voices. It also signals something deeper, that public trust is breaking, and trust matters because holding office depends on it. At the heart of political engagement is clarity. Political engagement must begin with a clear understanding. At its core, every political ideology claims to work for the well-being of people. It is meant to be a way of thinking about public life guided by the idea of common good. But in practice, many politicians use the language of ideology to serve their own interest, even when their actions harm the very people they claim to represent. That's why it's important to pause and think. If your support for an ideology makes you ignore the harm it has done or could do, then it's time to ask who really benefits from that loyalty. One way to form your support or criticism of a policy or proposal is to base it on what different academic fields say, such as political science, economics, sociology, public administration, or psychology. Because politics is not about winning arguments. It's about making a country work for everyone, no matter who is in power. And that requires citizens who are awake, informed, and involved. That's what citizens are meant to do and is the only way democracy survives. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe Newsreel Asia's YouTube channel. You can find more ground reports, documentaries, and written stories at www.newsreel.asia.